Welcome to episode 287 of the 2 Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at whether or not Jared Goff and the Los Angeles Rams can go on and win the Super Bowl this year. Before I get into the video, as you guys know, we have started a question of the day. I will ask the question at the beginning of the video and reveal the answer at the end. As we know, in the 2018 season of the NFL, the Los Angeles Rams and New England Patriots went on to the Super Bowl, and the New England Patriots won that game. However, what was the final score of that game? Stay to the end of the video to hear the answer. So, looking at the Los Angeles Rams this year, I'm pretty sure it's undisputable that they are the best defense in the NFL. And even if you're a critic, they're got to be in your top 3, top 5 defenses in the NFL between the Rams, Colts, Steelers when they're healthy, and get Devin Bush and Bud Dupree back, having them and TJ Watt, along with even the Miami Dolphins making a case of being the top 5 defense in the league. There's no way you don't have the best defensive pass rusher in the league in Aaron Donald and the best cornerback in the league, Jalen Ramsey, being on the same team, not being a top defense in your NFL defensive rankings. So that is clearly where a lot of the Los Angeles Rams' success come from. Not that it's just Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Of course, there's Leonard Floyd and Troy Hill as well, backing up the pass rush and backing up the secondary, along with a couple other players. However, defenses win championships, so I'm going to highlight them for sure. Looking at the offense, of course, you got Jared Goff. Jared Goff, that's my problem. That will be the only holdback I have with the Los Angeles Rams not making a Super Bowl this year. We've seen him be great. We've seen him the year he went on to the Super Bowl. We've seen him take down Patrick Mahomes in like a 52-49 game on a Monday Night Football game, one of the best Monday Night Football games in NFL history. We saw him gunsling there and do everything he needed there against the best quarterback in the league, as in Patrick Mahomes. But ever since then, he's slowly, I don't want to say declined, but he's definitely had his inconsistency since that season. As so far as his offensive production, he has several games where he throws 2 picks, 3 picks, 1 pick, 0 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns. You don't see very often Jared Goff throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 picks. Not that many quarterbacks do go on to do that, but it is reputable when you have an Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, to see that quite often, and that's why they're one of the great quarterbacks in the league, because they have the capability to do that. They might not be doing it every single game, but you can see them go for it 3-4 times during the NFL season. Jared Goff, we don't really see that. Well, he does do his job efficiency-wise. He still does have 250 yards, and 2 touchdowns a game, or maybe he will hit a 300-yard game and 3 touchdowns. However, your great quarterbacks, like I said, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees, so on and so forth, you know the ones. They have several games in a season where they hit 300, 400 yards, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns in a season. Jared Goff, you see that maybe once a year. Not to take anything away from him. Sometimes that's just not the quarterback's play. Like Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans, we don't see him throwing for that many yards, and they have had great success in the past year, considering them in making playoff runs. Super Bowl runs, not so much. But Jared Goff, that is a limit to him, where he has not only he doesn't have those 350-yard games and 3 touchdowns, he has the exact opposite. He doesn't even have a game where he's not as productive. He has a game where he's actually a liability, where he's not only not throwing touchdowns, he's throwing interceptions. That's not what you can get when you face an Aaron Rodgers, a Drew Brees, and a Tom Brady in the NFC playoffs and try and take on Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, whoever it will be in the upcoming Super Bowl. So that is an issue at hand, but especially when you consider Jared Goff's thumb injury, maybe he's not 100%, and maybe they actually might be moving forward to John Wolford, assuming he's okay from the concussion injury and that bad hit he got in the Los Angeles Rams versus Seattle Seahawks game. We all saw the Jamal Adams hit on him. So, setting that aside for a minute, who's going to play at the quarterback position? The run game has definitely stepped up. You got to say, Cam Akers, I believe he's a rookie if I'm not mistaken, amazing running back for the Los Angeles Rams. He's really given them a spark and has taken Todd Gurley's shoes ever since he left. Todd Gurley, we know, had a weird absence of where he definitely wasn't the same Todd Gurley he was as rookie and second and third year in the NFL. However, Cam Akers is bringing that type of Todd Gurley run game back to the Los Angeles Rams, that's really what brought their success in the first place. That's big for them. It's big for any football team to not be so strictly reliable on their passing game and to have a run game as well. You got to say, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are very lethal through the air, but it's very nice for Aaron Rodgers to be able to have a back such as Aaron Jones, who relies every now and then, along with Patrick Mahomes, having Clyde Edwards-Helaire, amazing rookie himself. Ryan Tannehill, their workhorse is through the running back, and Derrick Henry. So really, it's nice for any quarterback to have a back to rely on. You see Josh Allen in Buffalo, while they might be the hottest team in the NFL, they don't have much of a run game to rely on. I'm not sure how far that will get them in the NFL playoffs, so that will be interesting to see. Los Angeles Rams, they have that check mark in the run game. They have the check mark in the defense, and the quarterback is really where it lies. Receiving core between Cooper Kupp, Josh Reynolds, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee, Gerald Everett. The receiving core is there, like I said. The running back is there. The defense is there. The coach is there. Sean McVay, 37-0 when he leaves at halftime. That's an unreal statistic when the dude's only coached 4-5 years, if I'm not mistaken, to have 2 whole seasons under your belt, of which you're undefeated when you're leading at halftime. That's an insane stat. Good for Sean McVay, and that's why I think they have a great edge heading into the playoffs. Their first NFL matchup in the NFL playoffs is, of course, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, the number 1 seed in the NFC and arguably the number 1 team in the NFL. So it's not going to be easy for them to get there by any means. Facing Aaron Rodgers, the biggest thing you got to worry about is, of course, Aaron Rodgers and that Davante Adams chemistry and connection between that QB and wide receiver duo. Best in the league, in my opinion, between the QB wide receiver duo. It's really going to come down to whether or not Jalen Ramsey could take Davante Adams out of the game like he can with DK Metcalf. We see Jalen Ramsey shut down DK Metcalf twice this season, and it's been great to see, insane to see how much a cornerback can impact a team and save the game for the team. If he could do that, the Packers are definitely going to take a step back, and the Rams are going to take a step forward and possibly beat them in Lambeau, I think, for sure. Now, they are playing in Lambeau. That's definitely a factor the Rams have against them. Aaron Rodgers is the best in the cold. A lot of guys, especially those LA dudes in Los Angeles, used to those sunny games, not going to like it snowing in Lambeau if it does snow, or just even the temperature in general. So that will be a knock to him. To me, the entire matchup is really going to come down to Jalen Ramsey and Davante Adams. If you can limit Davante Adams, you can get a win. You got to figure even Aaron Rodgers, his all-pro tackle, David Bakhtiari, had a season injury. What does that look like for Aaron Donald? That looks like a couple sacks, in my opinion. So to me, I truthfully think this Rams team can knock off Aaron Rodgers with the pass rush having an opening with David Bakhtiari, having an absence in the offensive line for the Packers, and if Jalen Ramsey could do his job and limit Davante Adams. I'm not asking you to limit Davante Adams and have him only get 2 catches and 24 yards, but instead of most guys giving Davante Adams 13 receptions, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, I'm just asking you to give him 70 yards and 1 touchdown. That's reasonable, I think, for Jalen Ramsey, and I think that's reasonable for Davante Adams to get. I don't know if anyone's going to stop him from getting 70 yards and a touchdown at this rate he's going at. So it's going to come down to that. Can you get pressure on Aaron Rodgers? Can you get him frustrated? And can you limit Davante Adams? And if they can, I think it could take down the Packers. Not to oversimplify things, but if you could take Aaron Rodgers down in Lambeau, I think you could take down Drew Brees and Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Now, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, that's going to be difficult. However, they already did beat them in the regular season. And that pass rush and defense is going to rattle the shit out of Tom Brady. I'm a Buccaneers fan, but even I fear the Rams for Tom Brady for sure. I think Aaron Donald's going to mess with them, crack them, sack them, and it's going to be looking ugly for the Buccaneers if they face them. I think the Bucs can beat them, but I think that defense is just so lethal this year. They could go through any team, and Drew Brees and the Saints, we've seen them beat him before. And really, Drew Brees, while he is still Drew Brees and they're still the Saints, we've seen him struggle against the Bears. Yes, they had a dominant win, but I think against any other team in the playoffs, the Saints and Drew Brees might have been going home if it weren't for them playing, Mitch Trubisky, one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. So I think the Rams can knock off any team in the NFL or the NFC. And then when they get to the big game, as long as we don't see what they did in the last Super Bowl they appeared in, as what I said, having to do with the question of the day, losing that game, I think the Rams could pull off a Super Bowl win and go on to win this year. Now, back to my point, though, biggest issue is Jared Goff. To me, if you have John Wolford in that quarterback, that can really only get you so far. I'm not going to bet on John Wolford to beat Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, no matter who is on that defensive line and defensive secondary for the Rams. I'm not going to bet on a backup quarterback over Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. But if Jared Goff is in, and if he's healthy and his thumb is fine, I know it's going to limit it to someone, but if he can have a perfect game, and by perfect Jared Goff standards, I mean 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, just be able to do what a bad game for Aaron Rodgers is. I'm not asking you to throw 400 yards, 450 yards, throw 5 touchdowns, go toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers, but I'm asking you to not turn over the ball, put your team in a winning position, get your job done, march down the field and score the football, hand it off to Cam Akers, take the pressure off yourself. Just don't turn over the football, and I think Jared Goff can pull off a win for sure, assuming he's healthy, against no matter who he plays, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. He could just do his job, let the run game do his thing, and let the defense limit the other team to so many points. I think Jared Goff could get the job done, and I like the Los Angeles Rams to possibly make a Super Bowl run. Back to the question of the day, I asked Los Angeles Rams and the New England Patriots faced each other in the 2018 season of the NFL at the Super Bowl. What was the final score? Final score was 13-3. Very boring game. Los Angeles Rams lost. Neither quarterback threw for a touchdown. Very sad game. I like the Rams this year to possibly make a run. Not going to bet on it, but I think the potential is there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Any other videos you want to see? 2 in the morning.